Let's quickly start with our next topic, which is data lake governance and security, and it will be taken up by Mr. Abhishek Srivastava and Mr. Aditya Srivastava. So let me quickly introduce you all to them. So Abhishek is an enterprise and big data architect, having 15 years of rich experience in understanding complex systems, providing solutions of core business problems through niche technical stack and security and required governance. Abhishek's calm and focused approach provides mitigation of risk while taking decisions. So he's working here as manager software engineering. Next, if I talk about Aditya, he's a data custodian with more than 11 years of experience in stakeholder management and solution engineering for mission critical customer facing applications who strongly believe in theory of data talks, we listen. Prominent qualities you will find in him is extremely focused and is a keen listener. Here he is working as a lead software engineer. So over to you, Abhishek and Aditya.
Thanks, Survi, for introducing me to the audience in such a nice words. And before the break, we discussed regarding the data lake architecture concepts in brief. Data lake versus data warehouse, very interesting. The effective data lake ingestion and its challenges. The data processing and workflow as well. Now we are going to discuss another important aspect of the data lake, which is governance and security. Can we move on? So to start with, I want to quote one statement that to run a country, we need a constitution. Likewise, to run a data-driven organization, we need a governance and security. So what is that? Basically, data and governance and security, you can see in architecture, it is basically a cross-cutting concern. It means it gets applied throughout the journey of the data from ingestion to consumption in all the aspects. So we will discuss the different pillars in the data governance and security in subsequent slides. Can you move on? So now we discussed we have the data in the data lake. Producer and consumers both are ready, organization ready. Now there are few questions which needs to be addressed. Is my data trustworthy? It means whatever the data we have been using, can we have a trust on that data? Can we have the insights from the data, the right insights? Are we following consistent definition of data? It means the producer and the consumer have been talking about the data in same terminology, in same definitions, or in a different definitions. If they will be talking in inconsistent definitions, they can create a chaos among them. What about data protection? This is a data-driven era. Data is a fuel. So we have a responsibility to save the data as well. So is the data protected? Who is accessing our data? What happens to my data over time? What is the data journey from ingestion to consumptions? Are we really applying the compliance, the legal compliances? So these are some questions which will be discussed in the subsequent slides. Can you move on? So with bad data, we keep making bad decisions. We just don't realize they are bad decisions until later. What does it mean? So I want to quote a very basic example. I wanted to run a petrol car, but I'm filling a diesel inside that. So what can happen? The engine could be seized, or at least I cannot expect the optimal performance out of that. Another example, the business example I want to take. I was reading an article and came across an example where a frequent flyer booked a economy class ticket. After some time, he has upgraded his ticket to a business class, but he was kept on getting the promotional emails for upgrading his ticket from economy to economy plus class. What was that? Because the promotional email system was working on a stale data. It means if we are filling the garbage data in, then we will be expecting the garbage output. Can you move on? So now we need to understand why the governance is required in a data lake. We discussed regarding the different artifacts of the data lake. Now we will discuss some challenges. So some of the challenges are listed here: the data silos, data quality, inconsistent data definition, analytical accuracy. So along with these challenges, we will discuss the requirement as well. So what exactly the data silos is? There are two perspectives of the data silos. One perspective is we have the data for one department, another department is not able to access that particular data. Let's get an example. So we have the data from a sales team, but marketing team is not able to get the data. So in that case, the marketing and sales team would not be able to have the comprehensive view of the data. The another aspect of the silos is that we have a different data, different version of the same data. Let's say we have the customer informations, but at one location the address is older, another location the address is newer. So it can create a chaos for a downstream system. Data quality. What exactly the data quality means? Data quality means the data should be up to the mark to give the insights from the data, the value of the data, the inconsistent data definitions. So as I stated, if the producer and consumer have been talking about different terms in case of schema and data columns, then they would not be able to get the insight, or the analytical user would not be able to get the insight of the data. It can create a chaos upon them. What is analytical accuracy? So let's see about these three items: the data silos, data quality, inconsistent data definitions. If we are able to resolve these things, then automatically the analytic accuracy will be achieved. At right requirement, if we see the enforcement of policies and the compliances, so there are some policies which every organization has to apply to get the smooth business, and there are some global compliances which every business has to apply. So these are some challenges and requirements where we need a data governance and security. Can you move on? So let's see what Gartner says. So Gartner says data governance is the specification of decision rights and an accountability framework to ensure the appropriate behavior in the valuation, creation, consumption, and control of data and analytics. Let's decode these definitions. So data governance is basically a framework which talks about the data ownership, data accessibility, data protection, data policy, and compliances. And the most important thing is valuation. Valuation we discussed that we need to get the information. We need to get the exact insights from the information. That is why valuation is very, very important. Whatever we have been doing as part of the data lake processing, we wanted to have the valuation, but we need to have the control of the data. It means who is accessing the data. Is the eligible candidate accessing data? That's the control required. Can we move on? So let's talk about who is the part of the governance data team. So we can see from the left the chief data officer. Chief data officer is basically a person who is accountable to apply the governance across the organization. And then the data governance counselor committee. Data governance counselor committee is basically a group of executives from a different department of the organization so that they can set the policies for the business. And then the data governance team. Data governance team is basically actual team who apply the policies with the help of the technical architects and the specialist. Then the data stewards. Data stewards is basically a person who is accountable for monitoring and application of the policies. So let's say there is an incident happen, there will be reporting to the data stewards, and data steward would definitely take an action around that. Then the data quality analytics and engineers. It means if there are some errors, then data stewards and the council team would talk to data analysts, to architects to fix those errors. So these are some teams which work together to provide the data governance across the organization. Can we move on? So let's talk about what are the different pillars of the governance in data lake. So data availability, quality, consistency, security, and data compliance. These are all the pillars. What is data availability? Data availability means data should be available for all the consumers at right time. Data quality, there should be right data to give the right insight. Data consistency, data should be consistent. There is a very thin line between data quality and the consistency, but it's still data consistency a very important pillar. Data security, as I stated, whatever data we have been carrying into the data lake, that should be secure enough. The right candidate should be able to access the data. Unauthorized users should not be able to access. The data compliance, we have the different global compliance like GDPR, HIPAA, PCCI. These are the compliance, and the appropriate industry has to take an action. Can you move on? So let's talk about the data availability. What is data availability? Data availability is basically ensuring all data is available at all times. Need to be mission critical priority for every enterprise. What does it mean? It means that data sources, whatever the data sources we have been using, that should be trustworthy. A data owner and the data consumers has to trust on the data. They should be agreed upon one data. Data organization. Data organization means the data should be organized in such a manner that every kind of consumer can access the data. We can see in right that there are three zones: the raw zone, organized zone, and the curated zone. If you will see the raw zone, the data will be there in the raw zone. So the analytical user usually get access to this particular zone to analyze the data. Then we apply some kind of required transformation. We get the data inside the organized zone, and the downstream system uses this particular zone to have the data. Then we have the curated zone. We can apply more transformation to have the curated data inside the curated zone. In that case, the BI tools are the consumers who usually access this particular layer. Then we talk about the timeliness. It is again a very important aspect because whatever the data we have, data available, it should be available at right time. We have multiple application which has to take an action at the right time, like a stock applications and all. Can we move on? So another aspect, data quality. Let's see what are the different data quality issues: the incompleteness, inaccuracy, invalidity, redundancy, and non-standard data. Let's take an example to address it. Let's say we have the customer data, and in the customer data, we don't have the date of birth and we don't have the zip code. It means it's the incomplete data. What is inaccurate data? We have the older address, mean we don't have the current address of the customer. It's an inaccurate data. Invalidity. Let's say we have the inactive phone number, inactive email address. These are invalid data. Redundancy, we have been getting the duplicate data from a different data sources. This can introduce the redundancy as well. The non-standard data, let's talk about the format of the time, currency, and date of birth as well. So these are the things. Like, see, so to address these kind of quality issues, there are some data quality framework. Let's see in the diagram what are these what this framework basically does. So let's see. So first of all, we need to define what are the different pertinent DQ dimensions. After that, we measure what are the impact of these particular dimension to the. Let's take an example. How many customer? Let's say we have the data, and how many customer out of that who doesn't have the date of birth, who doesn't have the address. These are the measures we have to take. Then we analyze what are the root cause. Why don't we have the right data? Then on the basis of the root cause, we improve. It's an ongoing process basically. Let's move on. So data consistency. So there are multiple reasons for the data inconsistency, multiple data sources. So multiple data sources mean we have been getting the same data, but from a different data sources. That's why the data governance team comes into the picture, and the data publisher, data owner, and the analytical user comes sit together and decide and trust the data that what could be the right source of the data. And another thing is different data format. Different data format I stated, like, you know, the date format, currency format, this should be same across the organization. Then only the analytical user should be able to get the insights. Data in silos, like in the previous slide discussed two aspects of the silos. Here the second aspect is very important. Once we have been getting the data from a multiple data sources and a different frequency. Let's say there is a weekly frequency and the monthly frequency. One system is working on a weekly frequency, but it is getting the data from the location where the data is getting updated monthly. It means it will definitely give the wrong predictions. Can we move on? So we discussed data availability, quality, consistency. Now we will discuss another important aspect, which is security. So let's talk about parameter access and data security first, then we will discuss about the visibility. So parameter security is, let's say we have the data in the data lake, and for example, we have a data lake on the Hadoop side. So if we have a Hadoop, then definitely we will have the cluster. So first of all, the important responsibility is that we have to guard the cluster itself. So when we talk about the protection, then there are some technical concepts, the authentication and the network isolation. We will discuss these things as well. And then the access. Let's say we have guarded our cluster. Now we need to make sure whosoever is access the data, that should be the eligible user. Then the technical concept we will discuss about permission and authorization. Then let's say the user is able to access the data, but there should be a mechanism through which we can say, OK, this particular column or the row should not be accessible through a particular user. In that case, the encryption, data masking, row level security, column level security comes into the picture. And in Aditya will talk about an integrated diagram where we will see all these in an integrated way. Can you move on? So let's see parameter security. So parameter security, basically we have talked about the network isolation and authentication. So there are a couple of tools in the market from a network isolation perspective. If we talk about AWS, then VPC is there. If we talk about on-prem, there are multiple tools from a firewall side. From Azure side, we have VNet. And if we talk about authentication, we can see in the diagram, if a user wanted to access a SAP NetWeaver, first of all, he will be passing the username and password. With the help of the username and password, the user will be authenticated through the Active Directory, like we do whenever we wanted to access our email or any organization web page, then we pass our username and password. Apart from that, we can implement the Kerberos token as well. After getting authenticated, this particular user would talk to the SAP and NetWeaver with the help of the SPANAGO or HTTPS protocol. SPANAGO is basically, you know, the negotiating protocol from a security perspective, where let's say the client and the server parties wanted to talk to each other in a secure manner, but they are not sure then on what security theme they want to talk. So here the SPANAGO comes in the picture. Can you move on? So let's talk about the visibility. So visibility, what exactly the visibility is? Visibility is auditing and lineage. So in the case of auditing, there should be a reporting mechanism. Who has accessed the data? Let's say Abhishek X tried to access a data at 12:57 p.m. on 16th of January. This should be a complete entity. It should be reported. Let's say there would be a unexpected event, so it should be reported. A governance team would definitely take an action. This should be come from the framework itself. Let's see the lineage. What exactly the lineage is? Lineage basically tells about the journey of the data. What is happening with the data? We have ingested the data and consumer is consuming the data. So what is happening? We have applied the multiple transformation. You can see in the diagram what we have. We have the employee data, and in the employee data we have been applying the multiple transformation. After applying the transformation, we have been getting the UK employees and the US employees. So we can clearly see that what are the transformation we have been applying inside the data. There are a couple of tools in the market. So we have Apache, Atlas, Cloudera, Navigator. These are the tools which helps to get the visibility and the lineage as well.